Hey guys, TabletopBricks here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing TabletopBricks' Star Wars movie/TV show posters. If you didn't know, TabletopBricks is a newest store in the community that mostly focuses on printed tiles, but also has a custom set, some custom cloth, and sells some official LEGO sets. And probably will sell more stuff in the future. And there's actually a really wacky customer service story to go along with these that I'll share in another video soon to come. Each of these cost $2, but you can get them in packs to save a little bit of money, such as you can get a prequel trilogy pack with these 3 movie posters for $5, one for the original trilogy and one for the sequel trilogy. So in total, if you buy those packs, if you buy all 3 of them, you'll save $3, and so that will bring your total to $23 to purchase all of these, which is what I did. So taking a look at these in more general terms without looking at specific posters, you'll see that there's a recurring pattern in the designs for episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where they all have a very much black border, which helps the center stand out a lot more, but at the same time can cause the poster to be a little bit dark, which I especially point to Revenge of the Sith, where you can barely see Darth Vader's helmet, and it just takes a large part of the poster and just becomes very dark. It isn't really his fault, there isn't really much he can do about it, but it's just still something to think about. Whereas something like A New Hope has the sun, I don't really know what it is, but bright light sun, I'm assuming, in the background, which lights up everything else on the poster. But one problem with all these, because he didn't design any of these as far as I'm aware, is that they're a little bit outdated, such as Han doesn't have the newer hair, this is Vader's old helmet. This doesn't even look like a LEGO Vader helmet. Maybe it's just really that dark. And this is the older Vader helmet too, so on and so forth. It's just all a little bit outdated. Definitely, I think the Skywalker Saga, which is all the films besides Solo, Rogue One. TT Games, I'm 90% sure did them. I know they did the Force Awakens one for a fact, because that was the Force Awakens game cover. And all of them appear to be in the same style, so I'm just assuming these were all designed by TT Games. Also, you'll see that on the first 6 movies, all the plates are in gold for Star Wars, and then very, very hard to see underneath them is what they actually are. Like this says A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, so on and so forth. And it's just really hard to make out the writing underneath the Star Wars logo. I just think these would work a lot better being bigger. He sells puzzles, which I'll put a picture of on one of them on a screen now. I think these could work good as a puzzle. This is easily one of my favorites because you can have the TIE Fighters coming out. Definitely the most vibrant one would be the Clone Wars one, which actually this I know is designed by MGF Customs, mostly because these are his figures, and I'm sure he designed this at some point. It's very vibrant, very nice. I love the lightsabers glowing. Unlike, say, most of the other movie posters, you can tell it's a photograph. It doesn't look as animated, which makes it stick out from the rest. Also, I think the vibrant colors maybe hurt the printing process a little bit, because if I look over here, he included some misprint bags of misprints, I guess, and these, I can only really hold up one at a time, are misprinted a lot. Every single misprint bag I got had a Clone Wars one in it, which I had 3. And this one doesn't even look that misprinted. But I think that shows that all of these are a little bit misprinted, but with the Clone Wars one being more vibrant, it's just a lot more obvious. Speaking of misprints, I also have this one, which I think is very interesting. You can barely make it out only with the light and camera, that this is supposedly Return of the Jedi. It's just so hard to see because it's basically a black tile. I have a similar one for Revenge of the Sith, where it's a little bit brighter, but just found this funny, especially because these are so dark, that these are even darker. And then we have something like Solo, which is very different from the other movie posters. Once again, not necessarily as far as the design, but maybe because chosen a different movie poster to print. It just doesn't blend with the rest very well at all. I don't like how it blends with the rest, and that's saying a lot, because Solo is one of my favorite Star Wars films, and actually at the end I'll show you my favorite to least favorite Star Wars films. Rogue One, once again, kind of gets the fault of being too small, where you've got all these characters but they're so tiny, and then just Jin. And you've got little tiny TIE Fighters. I can't even tell what those are. I think that's 2 AT-ATs. This is one of the biggest ones where it could be bigger. Whereas most of these, I think, are good size, and these are probably supposed to fit with minifigures. Rogue One is one of those where it just really doesn't capture the detail well enough in this scale. We talked about all of these 3, and then Mandalorian. Another very vibrant one, which I really enjoy, Grogu has definitely been downsized to make it more minifigure scale, which is interesting. And you can tell he's got his custom rifle, I forget what it's called, on his back. The Mandalorian is bigger than Star Wars, which is actually something that I think is unique to this, because Star Wars' logo is typically bigger on all of these, except for Solo and Rogue One, where it's not even on the poster. Actually, you can see on Solo, I'm just realizing you can see like the little copyright information at the bottom, which is really funny and interesting. Just overall, great poster. Really like this one. And I actually have a misprint of that one, which I can't even tell. Like, there's a little white on this side, but it's just so nice. So I thought that was interesting. And then we've got the sequel trilogy, being Episode 7, which I already talked about being designed by TT Games. Another one of those where it just could be so much bigger. There's just these little tiny small characters. And you've got Kylo Ren and Rey and Starkiller Base. They're the only things I really can see on this poster. And then once again, you can barely see Star Wars and can't really make out Force Awakens at all, just because of how dark the poster is. The Last Jedi is one of my favorite poster designs. I really like Luke over top and all of the different characters, lightsabers in the red background. But you really can't make out the attack on crate that the First Order has below the Star Wars logo, but you can make out the copyright information. I think that says December 19th. I can't really tell. I can sure it's the actual release date. And finally, we've got Rise of Skywalker. It has the most pop with the blue and the red, and it's another one of those where there's just so many small characters besides Rey and Kylo Ren, much like The Force Awakens, or it's really hard to make out them, and I just wish this was bigger. For bigger posters in general, which I've said a lot, I would definitely get the bigger poster for Clone Wars, Solo, Episode 5, and then probably Revenge of the Sith, just because those are ones I would love to see being bigger. Also, they're some of my favorite films. Speaking of that, let's switch to my favorite to least favorite order. I've tried to record this segment about 12 times, but about 90% of the time I press record, it doesn't actually record, and I'm just hoping it's recording, and I won't know until I'm done. I'm going to make a separate video about my favorite to least favorite Star Wars films eventually, so I'm just going to really quickly skim it in like 2 sentences. Empire Strikes Back, favorite film, love to darkness, Bespin Duel is great, Han Solo is my favorite character, I really like Hoth, it's my favorite planet. Episode 3 is great storytelling, really wraps up the prequels, I love Anakin's character, Anakin and Obi-Wan are some of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. Solo, I really like Han Solo, Harrison Ford is easily my favorite actor, and there's a lot of bias towards that. Really great film, the only bad part is this stupid character. I'm sorry to this actor, but all of the stuff I've seen you in, you play very bad characters. The Winter Soldier, your character was the worst part of the show. Solo, your character was the worst part of the show. I'm sorry. Then we have Clone Wars, really great. I don't like comparing it to the other films, but it's easily the best TV show. Rogue One, really great war film. Really enjoyed it. And this is about where I draw the line. If I love these films, any of these films I can put in first place from time to time, but Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, has been in first for a while. Then we've got Episode 4, kind of slow pace. Episode 7, rip-off of Episode 4. Mandalorian, overrated. Season 2 is basically, let's just introduce a bunch of characters from the Clone Wars. Episode 2 has bad dialogue, one of the greatest stories. Return of the Jedi is too soft, way overrated. Episode 1 is really slow paced, but decent story. Episode, I don't even know, 9, Skywalker, something. I don't even care enough about this film to even remember what the name is. The Rise of Skywalker. Horrible film. Very, very bad. I saw this in theaters. I hated it. And of course, this is just like a movie I was really excited for. Like, I saw this opening night, and I really didn't like it. Rey should have turned evil. Kylo Ren should have been forced to kill her, but that should have caused him to die as well. Somehow, I will go on a rant about this sometime in the future. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Horrible film. Never want to watch this again. Bad dialogue. Finn's character's bad. Rose's character's bad. Rey's character's bad. Leia's character, I give her the fact that it's decent. Speaking of that, the only good part of Rise of Skywalker is the fact that Lando came back. Really excited for the Lando TV show. And I mean, this figure's awesome. You can't tell me otherwise. And that's all I really have to say about these Star Wars films. Leave your favorite Star Wars film and favorite Star Wars TV show in the comment section down below. Wow, this has been a long video. And fun fact, I'm too lazy to resort the way these Star Wars movie titles were in the beginning for chronological order. So I'm just going to put up a picture now from earlier so I don't have to do that. Anyways, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another video. With that, I bid you farewell.